Hi everyone, this is Chaz. This is a journal entry for the 19th, the 19th of August 2013. And I'm going to kind of do over the next few days a series of kind of a year in review journal entries, since it's been a year since I moved to Chicago. And I did a general one a few days ago. So each day, each journal entry is going to have a kind of a different theme, based on kind of what the first or last thing that happened a year ago was. So today I'm going to be talking about religion, because it was 1 year ago today that I attended St. Paul's United Church of Christ in Lincoln Park, in the Lincoln Park neighborhood here in Chicago. And so I'm going to be talking about what my spiritual life has been like over the past year. And so, which is kind of important considering that I go to a seminary. So, like I said, a year ago, I went to St. Paul's here in Chicago. Now, I did a lot of research into UCC congregations in Chicago before I decided on St. Paul's. I knew that there were going to have to be certain criteria that were met of any church that I went to here in Chicago. It was going to probably have to be United Church of Christ, UCC, although that wasn't etched in stone. But it was going to have to be open and affirming, or some similar designation. If it was a UCC congregation, it was going to have to be open and affirming. And so I did a lot of research and found a number of open and affirming congregations that I could have gone to. And I went to St. Paul's first, and my original plan was to go check out multiple UCC congregations, and I have actually. But my plan was to go look at multiple UCC congregations with an eye toward making them my church home here in Chicago. And I really didn't have to go much further than St. Paul's. I am a biblical and theological liberal. My attitudes towards Scripture, my attitudes towards theology are fairly liberal, at least as far as I understand them to be. But I'm very liturgically traditional. So the trappings of worship, the decorating of the altar, the way the liturgy is done, I'm kind of high church when it comes to liturgical stuff. And liturgy is actually where my passion lies in my studies, is in liturgy and worship. So I found a really good mix for myself in St. Paul's. It is an open and affirming congregation. It is scripturally and theologically liberal, but it is very liturgically traditional. It's got a nice mix of ages in its congregation. It's got it's not the most ethnically diverse UCC congregation that I could have picked, but it's far more ethnically diverse than the church in Belleville that I went to. It's got a good pastoral staff. It's got an entire LGBT ministry. It's been a godsend in some ways. So I'm very pleased to have the church, but I kind of wish I lived closer to it. I live in Hyde Park because it is close to school, but it makes me kind of feel, even though I'm now a member of St. Paul's, the distance that I have to travel to get to church, the distance I have to travel to get to the building, makes it so that I don't really feel that close to the community. I see them twice, maybe 3 times a month on Sundays. I don't see them at all during the week, so I'm not in the choir. I'm not participating in any of the extracurricular activities that the church has to offer. And so I kind of wish that I lived. I mean, I don't necessarily have to live in Lincoln Park, but if I lived, north, significantly north of where I live, even if I just live, if I lived in Edgewater, or if I lived in Lakeview, or if I lived in Uptown, and I was, just a couple of red line stops away, then I could be a lot more active. As it stands now, where I live, it's a good 45 minutes to an hour on the trains and buses to get to church, and if I were, and that's one way. So, but I like my church a lot. I really do. That doesn't make my crisis of faith, the way my depression and my anxiety is affecting my spirituality, is affecting my religion, is affecting my studies in theology and in religion. But I have friends, I have people who are concerned about me, who have taken me out for meals, who have given me gift cards to get groceries. One of the good things about being a seminarian in that church is that a number of the pastors remember what it was like to be in seminary, remember how hard they had to work, remember what a struggle it was, and so they're helping me. So that's really beneficial. So in this past year, I've really kind of developed an affinity for my church, for St. Paul's. If anyone is watching this and they are UCC or they're in Chicago and they're looking for a church, I cannot more highly recommend St. Paul's United Church of Christ in Chicago. It made me feel really at home. It's one of the bright spots in an otherwise very dark year for me. So that's this journal entry is about religion. So that's about what's going on. The whole crisis of faith thing is a whole other issue. That's going to be when I talk about school. So today I talked about religion because it's 1 year since I first set foot in St. Paul's. Tomorrow, when I get around to it, to do a journal entry, tomorrow I will be talking about the year in romance. And the struggles that I have had to deal with regards to being single, trying to find someone with whom to build a life with, if I even want to, and all that other stuff. So that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. So for those of you who might watch these with some regularity, you got something to look forward to tomorrow. So this is Chaz signing off. I want to thank you all for listening and watching. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to leave a comment either here or on Facebook, and I will talk to you all later. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other. Take care. Good night.